Now we move on to the main part, calculating payroll. This is where we take each employee's salary and break it down into tax, national insurance, and deductions. In this monthly payroll sheet, I have added the following columns. For the employee details and earnings section, we've got employee ID, employee name, annual gross salary, and monthly gross salary. The first three columns will get the data from the staff setup sheet as we've done in the sheet before this. Please take note of the formulas I have used here. All these formulas are included in the template, link below. I will now talk you through the columns that follow and show you step by step how to calculate each. To calculate the monthly salary, we simply divide the annual salary by 12. This gives us a consistent monthly payroll figure. Then we just drag down the formula. Now let's move on to the payroll calculations and deductions section. We then calculate pension contributions based on a percentage. The data needed we will get from the staff setup or data sheet. Generally, employees pay 5% towards the pension, but with this example, we've got a few who pay slightly more. I use the XLOOKUP formula for this example. We just use the gross monthly salary and the staff ID and get the percentage from the staff setup sheet based on the employee ID. Taxable salary is gross pay minus any pre-tax deductions, like a salary sacrifice pension. This is the amount we use to calculate pay as you earn. Next, we'll calculate the pay tax or pay as you earn tax. In the UK, we use a progressive tax system, which means different parts of your income are taxed at different rates. So for the 2026-2027 tax year, the first 12,570 is tax-free, then up to 50,270 is taxed at 20%, then between 50,271 and £125,140 is taxed at 40%. Anything above 125, 140 is taxed at 45%. So in Excel, we need to apply these bands step by step. This is why the formula looks slightly longer, because we are handling each band separately. So we will use the if formula for this example. Please take note of what I am doing. Please write down this formula if needed. Pause the video, yeah, rewind, whatever. And then once we are done with this formula, we drag it right down to the last employee. You may see a few pence difference. That's due to HMRC's rounding and cumulative tax rules. This model is a simplified monthly estimate. Next is national insurance. This is calculated differently from tax. It's based on thresholds per month. So for employees, there's nothing below £1,047.50, and then 8% between 1,047.50 and 4,189, rounding off obviously, and then 2% above that. This is one of the most common mistakes people make. They apply the percentage to the full salary, which is incorrect. If we look at Michael's NI calculation, you will see that I use the max Excel formula and use the monthly gross salary and compare it to the 4189, which is the monthly limit where employee NIC drops from 8% to 2%. So we cap the main calculation here. Then we deduct the 104,750 and multiply it by 8%. Then we do the same for the 2%, but remove the primary threshold of 104,750. You can also include other deductions like student loans if needed. In the list sheet, you will find the student loan thresholds, and the calculations are based on which plan the employee has. And you'll find that information in the staff setup sheet. Please take note of the formula used in this template. Before we move on to the employer cost section, we have to calculate the net salary. This is what the employee actually receives after all deductions. Use a taxable salary, less pay as you earn, less NIC, and other deductions like the student loan in this example. Let's move on to the employer cost section. We will first calculate the employer national insurance. This is very important for businesses because it represents the true cost of employing someone. For the 2026-2027 tax year, the employer NIC is unchanged as at 15%, but only on earnings above £417 per month. So again, not on the full salary, only the portion above the threshold. In this example, we'll use John's monthly gross salary, less the 417, and multiplying that by the 15% employee NIC contribution. We get 312.45, and then just drag down that formula. Let's look at the formula for the employer's pension contribution. This formula calculates the employer pension using the UK auto-enrollment rules for 2026 and 2027. We are taking 3% of the qualifying earnings, not the total salary. So first, we cap the salary at 4189 per month. Then subtract the lower threshold of 520. Anything below 520 is ignored. Finally, we apply the 3% employer contribution. This ensures the calculation is fully compliant with UK pension regulations. This total employer cost includes the employee's gross salary, plus employer national insurance and employer pension contributions. This gives you the true cost of employing each staff member. So just to summarize, gross, pre-tax, tax, NIC, deductions, and then net. This is the full payroll flow. Before we move on to the payslip generator, if you want me to build this payroll system tailored for your business, just click the link below and let's get started. Or if you want this exact template, you will find that link below as well.